Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask y'all something that I know has crossed many of your minds. If he craves me, why is he silent? Now see, that question right there, that ain't just about romance. That's about how deeply confusing the male mind can be, especially when a good woman walks into his life. Now let me break this down, because this is where a lot of ladies get twisted. You think because he ain't calling, he don't care. You think because he ain't texting, he's out here living his best life, not thinking about you. But let me tell you something, and I need you to hear me good. His silence don't always mean he ain't feeling you. A lot of times it means that man is scared out of his mind. Yeah, I said it. Scared, confused, spinning in his own head. See, what women don't always realize is that when a man meets a real woman, a woman with standards, with vision, with purpose, it shakes him. It rattles him. Because now he's looking at himself in the mirror saying, do I measure up? And if the answer's no, he don't always tell you that. He don't always come clean. Instead, he goes quiet. He pulls back. That ain't rejection, it's panic. Some of these men grew up without no blueprint. Nobody taught them how to handle emotions. Nobody taught them how to pursue love with intention. So now they feel something real and they don't know what the hell to do with it. They crave you, but they don't know how to keep you, how to deserve you. And instead of speaking up, they shut down. So before you go thinking he don't care, understand that silence can come from a storm inside his mind. It can be confusion, self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of hurting you, or fear of not being enough. But that silence, don't mistake it for peace. Don't confuse it for a lack of interest. Sometimes that man is going through a war he ain't ready to explain. Let me tell you something about men that's going to sound crazy, but it's the truth. A man can want you with everything in him and still have no idea how to come get you. He can crave your smile, your energy, your presence, and still sit there frozen like a deer in headlights. See, a lot of these men were never taught the how. They got the desire, but not the direction. When a man looks at a strong, confident, got her life together type of woman, he starts questioning everything about himself. What do I even bring to her life? He ain't just worried about rejection. He's worried about being exposed. A lot of brothers out here crave a woman they know deep down they're not ready for. And instead of rising to the occasion, they stall out. They hesitate. They tell themselves, let me get my stuff together first. But they don't tell you that. They just disappear or go quiet. Craving somebody is one thing. That comes easy. Pursuing somebody, that's where it gets real. That takes courage, that takes clarity. And a man who's not secure in himself, he don't have that yet. He'll admire you from a distance. He'll watch your stories, like your pictures, maybe even check on you from time to time. But take real steps towards you? Nah, that takes a level of maturity some men just don't have yet. And ladies, don't get it twisted. Just because he ain't pursuing doesn't mean you imagine the connection. You felt it. He felt it too. But emotional desire and emotional readiness are not the same thing. He can want you bad and still be stuck in a mindset that keeps him from stepping forward. The craving is real. The action, that's where most men fall short. Let's be real about this. Attraction is easy. A man can look at you for 5 seconds and know he wants you. That part don't take no effort. But timing, that's where it gets complicated. See, a real man, a man with depth, a man who actually cares, he don't just think about how fine you are or how good you make him feel. He starts thinking long term. He starts asking himself questions that most women never even hear. Can I provide for her? Can I support her? Can I protect her peace, not disturb it? That's what a man with a conscience is thinking about when he meets a woman who makes him sit up straight. The struggle for a real man ain't in the attraction, it's in the readiness. It's in the timing. He could meet the woman of his dreams at the worst time of his life. He could be emotionally broken, financially off track, spiritually lost, and now he's standing in front of something he's been praying for, but he knows deep down he can't steward it right. That's when you see silence. That's when you see hesitation. That's when a man pulls back, not because he don't want you, but because he don't want to ruin you. And here's the kicker. Real men care about that. A real man don't want to love you poorly. He don't want to waste your time. He don't want to hand you half a heart and call it love. So he wrestles, he struggles, and sometimes he disappears into that struggle trying to figure out if he can catch up to the blessing that just walked into his life. So ladies, when you ask if he wants me, why ain't he moving? Sometimes it's because he's still building himself to be the kind of man you deserve. Let me break something down that a lot of women don't always see from the outside. Most men were not raised to be emotionally vulnerable. We were raised to be strong, silent, providers, fixers. We were told, man up, don't cry, be tough. So now you meet a man and you expecting him to open up his heart, tell you how he feels, share his fears, his struggles, his insecurities. But here's the truth. He don't even know how. It's not because he doesn't want to. It's because no one ever taught him. You got to understand, emotional vulnerability isn't natural for most men. It's a skill. It's something we have to learn, often through trial and error, through pain. So when a woman comes into a man's life expecting honesty, depth, and openness, she's often asking for something he's never had to give before. And when a man is put in that position, two things usually happen. He either shuts down because he's uncomfortable or he runs because he's scared. Now, that doesn't mean he's cold or heartless. It means he's unfamiliar with the language of vulnerability. You're asking him to speak French when all he knows is survival. He may care deeply for you and still hold it all inside. He may want to trust you, but not know what that even looks like. That silence you hear, it's not always distance. It's often confusion. Emotional intimacy it feels like weakness, like exposure. And no man likes feeling exposed. That's why you'll see him talk about work, sports, goals. But when it comes to feelings, he goes quiet. Not because he doesn't have them, but because he's still learning how to face them, let alone share them. For most men, vulnerability isn't a starting point, it's a journey. Now here's the one that's gonna really hit you in the chest. Sometimes that silence you hearing, it ain't rejection, it ain't ghosting, it ain't disrespect. Sometimes his silence is his way of protecting you from his mess. See, a real man, one with a conscience, one with self-awareness, he knows when his life is in chaos. He knows when his heart's still broken, his mind's still cluttered, his finances ain't right, his emotions all over the place. And when he sees a woman of value step into his world, he thinks, she don't deserve this. He might crave you with everything in him. He might see peace in you, purpose in you, something rare and real. But if he's looking at his own life and seeing dysfunction, inconsistency, baggage, he's going to make a choice. And that choice is often silence, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares enough to stay out of your way. See, we don't talk about this enough. Everybody's quick to say, if he wants you, he'll make it happen. And while that's true for the man who's ready, the man who's still cleaning up the wreckage of his past, he knows love can't live in the middle of a mess. So he backs up. Not because you're not worth it, but because you're too valuable to be dragged through it. A man who respects you won't always explain this. Sometimes he can't. He doesn't know how to say, I'm not okay. He just goes quiet and starts working on himself. It hurts. It's confusing. But in his mind, it's protection. That silence might just be the only thing he feels like he can give you, his distance. Because deep down, he knows what you deserve. And it's not a broken version of him. Let me be real with you. A man being silent for a little while, that's one thing. But when he's been quiet too long, when you're constantly left guessing, when days turn into weeks and confusion becomes your new normal, that ain't about you. That's about him. That's about where he is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because silence over time, that's a reflection of maturity, not mystery. A grown man, a man who's emotionally mature, knows how to communicate, even when he's not ready, even when he's unsure, even when he's struggling. See, emotional immaturity hides behind silence. It avoids confrontation. It avoids clarity. It leaves you hanging, hoping, wondering if maybe you did something wrong. But let me stop you right there. You are not the problem. If you're showing up with honesty, with love, with patience, and he's still not meeting you halfway, that's not a you issue. That's a man who hasn't grown enough to handle what you bring. Because here's the truth. Being attracted to someone is easy, but communicating through discomfort, that takes growth. That takes a level of manhood a lot of dudes haven't reached yet. And let's be honest. Some men love the idea of a good woman more than the responsibility of keeping one. They stay silent, hoping you'll stick around while they figure it out. But silence for too long, that becomes disrespect. That becomes emotional neglect. That's when you've got to stop internalizing his lack of communication as a reflection of your worth. So if you're sitting there confused, waiting, hoping he comes around, remember this. Grown men talk. Grown men explain.